GMB Footy Talk with your boy Ads and Gabe's in the building too. What's going on, Gabe?
What's going on, man? We're back.
Yeah, firstly, got to give a bit of an apology for last week. We didn't do a match preview.
Yeah, sorry, people. We'll make sure
we're back.
Yeah, we'll be back.
We're back with a review, and obviously this week we'll be here with a preview and some more special content. But we're going to go into the weekend's games. We had a really interesting weekend because there were a few games that we kind of thought, even though we didn't do a preview, there's still a few games we were looking at thinking, that's the techie one. Like I was looking at the Liverpool Forest one as a dead rubber. They're definitely going to win. Liverpool definitely going to win that one. So that. But anyway, we'll go into it in order. We'll go and have a little chat over the last few games. So first game of the weekend was our game. But we're not going to go. We'll go to Man United right at the end because I think we need to save the best for last. We're going to win the quadruple this year, isn't it?
Oh, nah, don't do that now. Don't do that.
Season turned around now. We're going to win the quadruple.
We're not doing what Liverpool are doing, bro. We're not doing what Liverpool are doing.
Arsenal, see Joe Bear talking to us like we're going to win the league. It's like, oh, come on, man. Joe's a joker, man.
He's jokes.
So we're going to obviously cover the big games for the weekend, including the North London derby. You got Man United at Southampton. You got Forest. You got Ipswich, Brighton. You got so many games to cover. Good place to start though. A team that we've been looking at last few weeks, saying they're going to be very unpredictable. Chelsea versus Bournemouth, away at Bournemouth. I guess a win's a win, 1-0. Sancho popped up in it with an assist as well. I mean, it was nothing special. I looked at the highlights of the game, to be honest with you. No. Let me be honest. He won man of the match, and I'm happy for him as a player because he needs confidence boost. But he was doing stuff that a normal footballer does, but we're so used to seeing him underperform at United that him running for the ball looks amazing. Yeah. Versus at United, the man's not checking back.
What?
So anyway.
Okay, go on.
Go on.
Yeah, in terms of the Bournemouth game, I just thought Bournemouth dominated the whole game, to be honest. Chelsea didn't have a sniff in Bournemouth's goal, really. But that's what you do. You bring the game changers on. And Sancho, good. He was good coming on in the second half. Changed the game on that left-hand side. Did better what Mudryk has done for the past 3-4 games. So I think Sancho is an improvement on Mudryk. He gives them width as well on that left side because that's his favourite position on the left, where he can drift in, link up with the fullback, 1-2s, give and go with Jackson and Cole Palmer, Cucurella, all these types of players. So I think he's comfortable there. And I think the system's better for him at Chelsea than it was at United, because us at United, we usually just sit back a bit and just play on the counter. But with Chelsea, they have technical players that keep the ball. So I think that suits Sancho's game and his skill set to thrive in. So I'm happy for him, and good assist for Nkunku to get the 1-0 victory.
Yeah, I'm happy for Sancho too. I don't really care for his attitude. So his attitude, to me, is the thing that stops him from being successful at United. The manager and tactics are another thing altogether. But if you're not doing the basics like tracking back, chasing the ball, making effort, those things look bad. If you're any other club in the world, you might get away with it. But at Old Trafford, the fans value, and St James's Park, to be fair, Newcastle fans are very similar in terms of if you put in a shift, the fans will appreciate you. You haven't got to be the most technically gifted player or the best player, but you've got to be willing to work your ass off, basically. And he's not a workhorse, and I think you'll get that performance out of him while he's on show, which he's on show. He's on loan now, so it's like a performance. But when his contract kicks in and he's on his big money and he's at Chelsea, you'll really see the truth about the player who cares more about his personal ventures than he does like his playing FIFA and not malarkey, rather than training and getting on time.
Allegedly.
No, everyone says the same thing. Everyone says the same thing, man. We all know people who have done interviews and it talks about him particularly, like, my man's playing FIFA, my man's coming to late for training every day. It's happened at Dortmund, happened at City, happened at United. Unless he's changed, which I hope he has, nothing will change there. But okay, interesting game. I think Bournemouth were unlucky really as well. They put up a good plucky defensive performance as well in terms of holding on to the ball, not letting Chelsea have many really clear-cut chances. But it just takes one. And Chelsea, with a squad their size, should have the quality to break down a team, and they have the ability to bring on any kind of player. Each week the bench could be completely different, and they're really blessed. They're very fortunate to have a squad. Yeah. Not fortunate. It's probably a nightmare to be a manager.
Yeah.
But they could if they wanted to change tactics, they could bring a whole other team to play a different tactic. Everton Villa. a mad one. I saw us score 2-0 to Everton. I thought, wow, what's going on there? And then obviously Villa showing real steel as Champions League player team this year, contenders for potentially a title run this year. Who knows? They could do it.
Oh no.
Ollie Watkins. Oh, you're Blue though, isn't it?
Yeah,
You're a United fan, but your family's all Blues.
Yeah,
probably
Blues
dad.
are hot, yeah.
He's in Liverpool. But Villa, Ollie Watkins, 2 goals. John with a banger. What do you think of that one?
Hard, cold. I think it's probably the best substitute. Well, coming off the bench substitute since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So
better than Garnacho.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Before this Chicharito man at United, my man was the most important super sub after for Solskjaer. My man was a saviour for us. He was
good shout.
But Everton had 2-goal lead. What happened there?
Once I was watching the game and I said to my mind when they were 2-0 up, I just said to myself, surely not they're going to do what they did against Bournemouth. Surely they're not going to do what they did again. And they did. And then when Ollie Watkins made it 2-2, then I just said to myself, it's happened again. It's happened again. And this is what's going to happen when you don't organise yourself with the defence and the structure of your midfield and you not scoring enough goals to keep yourselves in the league. And that's what makes them going to go down, the capitulation that they're going to have. And
so you reckon Everton will actually go down this year?
If they keep up with this 2-0 up lead, and they just keep capitulating, then they could go down.
Wow. To be fair, this is very similar to us last year with the whole leading games and then losing or drawing in the last minute or conceding real late goals. We did that a lot last year, and we were lucky that we had decent-ish form at home to keep us in the in the 8th place, which is nothing to shout about. But Everton are already bottom. It's going to be interesting for them this year. Who have they got this weekend? We'll look at that in a minute.
We'll look at it in a bit, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting though to think like they really could be on 5 games with no wins.
It's mental.
Crazy.
I just felt like they need that striker, even though Calvert-Lewin's doing it. Doing it a bit. Ish.
Yeah.
But they just need like a fit striker just to give Everton hope and staying in the league. And I think they have got the wingers and creativity with Dwight McNeil and Jack Harrison. Like Everton's like type of a Burnley wingers, like in terms of crossing the ball into the box, and the striker would just get the head on it like Calvert-Lewin's doing. And I think they need that type of striker like a fit striker for them to stay in the league. So you never know. We'll see where they are in around Christmas, January time, and if they're still in the same position, then we'll know the outcome.
They've got Leicester this weekend on Saturday, so that should be interesting.
Is that away or is that?
It's away to Leicester. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So I think Leicester might fancy the chances against the Everton team that they could be 2-0 down to and still think we can win this.
Yeah.
Which is mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
They always say 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline because if you're winning 2-0 and suddenly concede one, then the energy comes behind the team who just scored.
Yeah, and the fans will,
and then the momentum switches. The
fans will just start gearing up all the players to get back into the game, and that's what makes the players so nervous that they don't want to make a mistake or capitulate of any strong movement of basically conceding another goal to get the fans riled up and let the energy take over, and the fans will just win the game for them and for the game, yeah.
12 man effect.
12 man, yeah.
All right, so Brighton Ipswich, a 0-0, so it's a no-score draw. I thought this would have been a not an easy win because Ipswich have got a good, solid base there. Yeah. But I thought maybe Brighton would have too much in attack for them.
Yeah.
Obviously not.
Yeah.
0-0 in the end. I think Ipswich are quite impressive as well.
Yeah. They sat back, which I expected because Brighton dominated the ball. The goalkeeper, the Ipswich goalkeeper, was magnificent. The saves he was making, the double save with, I think it was Matoma, Danny Welbeck. From those two, I think. And the saves he was making through Minter from... who else was that as well? Yeah, Welbeck with a free kick and Mitoma with a couple of chances as well. I think they missed João Pedro, even though he didn't play in the game. For some reason, I don't know how he got injured or had a nickel or whatever, but I think they miss a bit more firepower with João Pedro. Ipswich did well to hold on throughout the game, and I think they did well to get the point at the Amex, so well done to them.
If you told Kieran McKenna at the beginning of the night, the beginning of the day, I can get you a point right now, he just stole it and ran away with it.
You would run away with it, man.
All day. All right, Palace Leicester. I was saying to you before, like I saw this game at 2-0, I think it was.
Yeah, 2-0 Palace,
so I didn't even finish watching it. But it ends 2-2. Palace is still holding up. They're not in the same form they were in the last part of last season where they was killing off everyone and playing really good football. But there's something there, isn't there, Palace?
Yeah. I just felt like they're not the same as last season towards the end, but I think I think they just lost that stability, like that defense that they had last season with Anderson, with Gahey, and they have new players.
Anderson went to Fulham.
Yeah, Joachim Anderson went to Fulham. Like, I think them bringing new centre-backs coming from La Liga, coming from the Bundesliga, trying to adapt to the Premier League, I think they're trying to adapt really quick. I think they're struggling a bit right now in terms of the English football and the pace, but I think they'll get used to it, and I think they'll be okay. In terms of the attack, I think they're creating chances. They're doing well. And Ketia had loads of chances to put some of the chances away. I think Palace is just missing that left foot magic from Elise. I think Elise was a big miss for them, but but they gotta make sacrifices with the big players, with the money, and replace them with big replacements that they need. And they got that with Samal Assar and Eddie Nketiah, which I think will do the job anyway. But Palace did have chances, but I think the defence leaking goals wasn't ideal for them in the league, like in terms of new centre-backs coming in and being able to adapt to the league. But I think Palace will be all right, but I just think they need to adapt really quickly in terms of the way they want to play football.
Yeah, I think Nketiah showed why Arsenal was so willing to sell him. He's not a bad player, but he's just never really done it. He's never really taken his chance. No. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on at Palace. Maybe a better team with less pressure for him at Palace will give him a better chance of showing what he can do, but he just hasn't done it for Arsenal, obviously. That's why they sold him. I say Leicester must be very disappointed with that.
Yeah, Leicester.
Nice 3 points.
Yeah, because once Jamie Vardy scored and Mavrodini scored, I thought... I didn't think they were going to win the game, but because there was lots of time left, but I just felt like they might actually get the first points of the season, like the first win. So I just thought, it's a bad one. It's a bad one. You should have had a solid defence, but Connor Cody just did a bad mistake on Samal Assar in the penalty box, and it's the fine margins in football, and that's what it does.
Mateta looks like a baller, innit? He's been killing it.
Yeah, it was a slow start from him, even though through the fatigue in the Olympics that he went to. But I think he's started to regain his form and his fitness and being able to score goals again. So I think doing that to get his confidence back, just in time for the United game, surprisingly.
Yeah, surprise.
Pray on our centre-backs. He's getting back into form, and he's a really good striker on form.
All right, moving on to, I guess, a London derby, Fulham, West Ham, 1-1. West Ham, for all their spending, have not showed up this year, have they?
Well, they're a weird one. I think the defence is leaky, but the attack, they need more fluidity in terms of playing the players that in the right position, like playing Paqueta. Well, I don't know where they're playing him. If they're either playing him as a 10 or an 8, but I couldn't really tell. And they're either playing Kudus on the right and Bowen up front, and I can't remember who was on the left as well. Was it Somerville or was it I don't know who it was, but I think the fluidity. West Ham. The fluidity.
Kudus was on the left, Bowen was on the right.
Wait, he was on the left.
Kudus,
Kudus was on the left, so he was on the right.
Bowen,
Who's up front?
Antonio, Mikel
Oh,
Antonio.
okay. I missed out Antonio. My bad. Yeah. I think they missed that fluidity in attack. Like, I think they need a better vocal point up front, if I'm being honest. I love Antonio as a guy. He's a good striker, like a bad boy striker at the time. I just think it's a bit too much right now, bro. Like, I think he's lost a bit of pace, bro. I think he's lost. He still has the strength and the power to wrestle defenders and get through, but I think it's getting I think it's a bit. I don't know what to say about Antonio. I think it's a bit. I said the injuries sort of didn't really help in terms of his form and getting back to where he was. That's why I think West Ham are just missing that focal point with Füllkrug, even though he got injured in the international break. I just think Füllkrug would have been a good option to have to start that game and then have Antonio come off the bench. But fortunately, he got injured, so Antonio had to start. So, yeah. And, yeah, Fulham played really well in the first half. I think they should have took their chances. Because if you don't take your chances, then the other team will get a chance and they punish you. Then the end results will just end in a point. But Fulham did play good football, and Emil Smith Rowe's on form with an assist. With Raul Jimenez.
He's just got to stay fit, hasn't he? Really?
Yeah, he's got to stay fit, and he is right now. And we're almost in game week 5, so I think he'll do all right in terms of staying fit at the moment. So I think he's doing really well. Fulham just needs to take their chances. That's what they really need to do.
Okay, and then obviously one of the games of the weekend that I would have thought was not even worth watching, really, because you think Liverpool would beat Nottingham Forest. Not that I wouldn't watch it because I like football, I love football, but you kind of think I don't really like. I hate Liverpool.
I hate them with a passion.
I didn't like watching them win. Yeah,
I hate them with a passion.
And then I saw obviously Hudson-Odoi scored. I thought it was only a matter of time before Salah pops up or someone pops up with a goal loose, Diaz or someone,
Or Jota or something like that. But,
yeah, someone's going to score. Liverpool will score. But it kind of is, I guess, a wake-up call for
Slot.
Slot, because like literally he has had zero pressure. He came into a squad that was completely,
I wouldn't say zero pressure because it's still the same squad that used to be in the title running, but I wouldn't say like pressure.
I think after last season with Klopp, Liverpool's players knew they had something to prove anyway. And had a new manager, so the new manager bounced.
Yeah.
So he was getting really a bunch of players who are still hungry, but just needed a new motivation.
Yeah.
But I think if they finished 4th this year, no one would be kicking off. No one would be like, oh no, we should have won the league.
Because that's what you expect when.
Yeah, no one outside Liverpool expects Liverpool to win the league every year.
Yeah.
Nobody does.
Yeah.
They've won it once in 30 odd years. It's not like it's a common thing. But inside Anfield, I think they would have been comfortable with 4th place this year. But the way they started, everyone's been saying this is the best manager of his generation. It's like, give it a chance. We've seen managers come in.
You said that, but...
I saw it the other day.
You said that?
Yeah. I think Carragher said it, but he says Lebanon. Well, you know Jerry Carragher, man.
Oh my gosh.
So obviously, great goal for Hudson-Odoi. 7% possession for Liverpool, just couldn't get the ball in the net.
No.
Pretty much a stunning result, really, for Forest. They didn't, but they've actually been really good. Forest have. They've been really good.
Yeah.
What's the name? Who used to play for United again? Elanga, yeah. He been doing well. He set up the goal, didn't he, as well? If I remember correctly, set up the goal for Hudson.
Yeah.
I'm sure he came on. Yeah,
he came off. Yeah.
So it's interesting to see that they're just under the radar. No one's even talking about them for relegation or nothing. But it's like they're kind of going to be somewhere like 10th to 12th, I reckon. That kind of.
Well, I think they'll be like 14th or like 13th.
Yeah,
that would be.
If they're not in the fight for relegation in the last few weeks, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I think they'll be happy with like 13th or 12th. I think they'll be able to stay in the Prem this time with the run of fixtures they have in terms of the fixtures. But I think they'll be okay. So, yeah.
moved to Man City. I remember the score popped up on my phone, 1-0 Brentford. I was like, oh, really? It's just when the game just started. But you knew, I mean, the only thing that didn't happen that I expected on that day was that Haaland would get a hat-trick. I thought he'd get 3 hat-tricks in a row.
I know.
I didn't think he would do it.
I know.
He got his 2 goals. Incredible form there, though. What is it, 9 goals? No, what was it? In
9
4
goals,
games?
yeah. 9 goals in 4 games, yeah.
Crazy stats, man. The guy's I keep saying this, though. He's a monster. He scores enough goals. But he's not an amazing footballer.
Boy, he's
not
alien.
Ronaldinho.
Yeah, but he's an
alien. He's not from this world.
Yeah.
Like Ronaldo, just monsters, man.
Yeah, alien.
But, you know, when I was growing up, Ronaldinho, Zidane, the kind of players who, when they had the ball at their feet, were magicians. He isn't a magician to me. He's a big, strong, bad boy baller. But he's not someone who makes me go, wow, when I see him play football. I think that's something that I miss a little bit about football now.
Yeah.
We don't have the players that do. What Mata was like that for us. He was a little magician. So little tricks and flicks he would do. At Chelsea, there's a guy called, probably before your time, Gianfranco Zola, little magician. Just players who could just. Oh, what's that guy's name? He was at. What's his name? He's from Bolton. Not Jimbo Jim. That's United. His name was. Somebody watching is gonna know the guy's name. He had a name that was double named. Akacha, JJ Akacha.
Akacha, yeah. I was thinking, yeah.
The guy was a magician. A magician with the ball. Anyway, but no doubt about it. Haaland is a beast. He's a monster. Even when they go 1-0 down, you don't think City will start threatened. Yeah.
That's the one thing. You don't score early against City, and you knew what the outcome is at the end. Because you score early, then it's curtains, straight up, just curtains, and that's what happens, isn't it? That's just City. Nothing else to say.
Yeah. Moving on. Southampton United, biggest game of the weekend. even though there's apparently a game in North London later on the next day. But the biggest game of the weekend was obviously at St Mary's, United versus Southampton. To be fair, a lot did hang on this game because going into the weekend, there's talk of if Ten Hag is losing another game, he's going to be under real pressure.
Mad pressure, bro.
They've lost 3 games in a row already. They just come up. We should be beating them. So if we lose them,
it's techie.
The quality, it's really one of them ones. So it was the first half an hour. Everyone said the same thing. We weren't really in the game.
We were
it was much
dominated. We got cooked,
but there was no edge though for Southampton. There's no cutting edge.
No, I think
it was interesting.
Yeah, I just thought that penalty. If Cameron Archer had his shooting boots, I don't think we would have came back in that game, because the attack that we have, which I'm positive about, I just don't know if they have the mentality to come back into the game, because we saw from last season, every time we go 1-0 down, we didn't even know where the goal was coming from. So that's what I felt in my mind. If Southampton...
Stop telling me.
Yeah. Well, he's gone now, so no excuses.
Yeah, he's in Napoli.
But, if Southampton... if Cameron Archer put that in 1-0, I just don't think we would have came back like we did, because we would have the same mentality as last season.
I definitely feel like heads would have dropped.
Yeah.
I would have taken a few substitutions at least to get back into the game or something special. But, credit to Onana, saved the penalty. It was a very weak penalty. It's like he passed it, and if you watch it in slow motion, you see Onana dive to the right.
Yeah.
And he looks at the ball, and he just puts his arm down and just stops the ball. It's like, and it pops out. And with penalties, when it comes back out to you, there's not much you can do. Because you can't kick it, so you have to head it, and there's no way to get any force onto it. Yeah. So head it straight back to Onana. We scored within 2 minutes. We scored after the penalty was missed.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Lovely little bit of work, and I think we had. I was looking at the chances. I think Xerxes had a chance to score at least 2 goals. He should have scored.
Yeah.
In
I think the first one was it was a stretcher, so I think the ball was bobbling straight back.
The same stretch he did against flipping Brighton.
Yeah.
Remember, the same thing.
It was different though.
No.
But the ball was bobbling. He tried to stretch for it to go in the back of the net, but I just felt...
I couldn't see how he missed it.
Yeah, I know, but that's what happens in it. His overall game was brilliant in terms of his hold-up play, his link-up, his passing.
It's great link-up play.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Let's just say this. He just reminds us of Berbatov, innit? He just reminds us of him, really.
Yeah.
He's only Berbatov, but Well, you would remind him as Berbatov, but I would say he reminds me of Roberto Firmino for Liverpool.
Yeah, a lot of people saying that.
I would say he's a bit of a Firmino type of player where he just how do you say the word? Facilitate, is that facilitate the wingers. Like Firmino did with Salah and Mane. I think Xerxes can be the one with Ahmad, who I pray will sign a new contract, which will hopefully happen. Will become our Salah, or maybe Rashford if he can find his shooting boots like Mane always done for Liverpool. So I think Xerxes will become that Firmino player. He will get goals, but not as many as we think. But I think he'll help the wingers a lot more, which will be important. So I think he's a good false nine to have anyway.
Yeah, I reckon if he can contribute what Scott did last year, I'd be happy with that because he plays better than Scott does. I love Scott McTominay. Like I don't know. Let me not say this because it's easy to say that after someone's gone. I appreciate what he did last season with the late goals and that kind of thing, and I love him as a United player who's a United through and through boy who grew up through the club. Them kind of things you can't take away from him. He's always going to go down as a Man United player. And I appreciate that he made such a great contribution to the club. He wasn't the right player for this season of our lives now, though. And Xerxes is a perfect replacement and better than him as well. So first goal, you had De Ligt, who had the week of a nightmare before that with Holland, sort of half-time, who got that idiot Van Dijk talking about him in press conferences. Van Dijk's a donut, man. How do you talk about your own players like that? What's an idiot? I don't rate him at all. Van Dijk is the most overhyped defender I've ever seen in my life. Overhyped. God. Bro, he cannot lace up Rio Ferdinand's boots, bro. He can't lace up Rio Ferdinand's Vidic.
Debatable.
No, it's not debatable at all. It's not debatable. It's not even a conversation. Line up the titles and the trophies won. That should say what it needs to say. Then line up the performances. It says what it needs to say. Van Dijk has a good few seasons, like 2 seasons where he was excellent and he was up there with the world-class players in his category. However, he was never the world's best defender.
I would say like 3, at least 3 or 4.
Van Dijk is a good defender who got hyped up because he's in Liverpool.
Well,
that's what.
In my opinion, he had like 3 or 4 good seasons, and like
what did they win those 3 or 4 years, Gabe?
Like when Klopp was there in their first title race for City when they won the champs, the second season, full season he had when they won the league, and the third one would be last season. Third one would be last season, like the way they resurrected themselves.
You spaced out a few seasons over his whole career at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Rio Ferdinand had 1 bad season and he left the season after that.
Yeah, but that was retirement. No,
he was QPR.
Oh, yeah. Well.
So remember, he had 1 bad season, and that 1 bad season was under David Moyes, who everyone had a bad season. Man went to QPR, retired basically played retirement football for a year at QPR, and then said, "Goodness, these men were playing top tier football every season of their life, competing for titles every season. Even if they didn't win the title, they were competing at the highest level, mentality-wise, talent-wise, ability-wise, effect-wise. This is not a debate. Rio Ferdinand is clear of Virgil van Dijk. Clear. Okay. You're 16 or 17. How old are you? 17?
17, bro.
Yeah, so it's a bit different. I saw Rio Ferdinand at West Ham playing. I saw him at Leeds playing as a young adult. So I've seen these players all play for the whole career. You came and saw Rio maybe a bit later on, and maybe get to appreciate how sick he was. He was levels above everyone else. He was Varane in Britain. He was Varane quality when Varane was at his best. No joke. Anybody who knows football will say the same thing. I'm not saying Van Dijk isn't a great defender. He's a great defender. But the whole kind of notion that he's the best Premier League defender ever, nonsense. John Terry's clear of Van Dijk. John Terry's clear of Van Dijk. Check the records, bro. Check the records. I don't even like John Terry. I don't like John Terry myself. But as a defender, Chelsea legend, he is clear of Van Dijk as well.
Wow.
Vincent Kompany's clear of Van Dijk. Think about it. Think about the players ahead.
That's debatable.
But it's not debatable. The cabinet speaks for itself. The trophy cabinet speaks for itself.
Yeah, true.
Just like it's not debatable. Like in London, everyone says that Arsenal are the biggest team in North London, right? Everyone says this because they won a trophy more recently than Spurs have. However, Arsenal haven't won the Premier League for how long? So now it's really about each season who finishes above each other, who's the biggest team in North London, not who won the most trophies, because they're not really trophy-winning teams. Arsenal are comfortable with fourth place, second place. They don't want titles. They think the place ranks higher than a trophy. Anyway, back to United. That's what we're talking about. Southampton 0, United 3. De Ligt went away for Holland, and that was a real segue off. De Ligt comes in, man of the match performance, scores the first goal. Real quality goal as well. The header, the way he got the ball, and he turned his body to head it in. It wasn't just. It was a really good goal. He scores, gets his goal. Rashford comes in, has a real good, solid performance, but also scores his first goal since March.
Which is long time, but long time.
And then we've got Garnacho as well, last goal of the game, with Ugarte on as well. What would you take on the field? Like, how did you see Ugarte's debut? Rashford's goal. What are your thoughts on it?
Rashford, it was a better performance from him. This is what we expect from him. When he's always on the team sheet, we always expect a lot from him because he's supposed to be the talisman for us. He's supposed to be the poster boy for us, the main man, the number 10 on your back. He's supposed to be that guy. The form before that wasn't really good because he didn't really have a shot on target yet, but luckily he had that goal. That was your first shot on target and it went in. So, I mean, it was good. You should have
bent it around De Ligt as well.
Yeah. You should have scored more with that Ramsdale save as well. He should have scored when Ahmad put it through.
That 3-yard shot.
Yeah, Rashford should have scored that.
Like a few weeks ago, he wouldn't even take that shot. So the goal gave him the confidence in it to take that shot.
That goal, I felt, and that was his first shot on target. So, I mean, if that went in, then his confidence would have been on a flyer. But very good. Garnacho come on the pitch. Brilliant. Like I said, he's always has been an impact sub. I don't think he's a starter, but that doesn't mean he won't be a starter. It's too early for him.
He could start tonight, couldn't he?
I know, but
Barnsley game
in the League Cup. But that's what you're supposed to do, to put your youth in the League Cup games. So I wouldn't say Garnacho will never be a starter. He will be in the future, but just not at this moment. He just ain't ready yet. But the one person we've always missed out on in terms of standout performances is Ahmad, because Ahmad has been the one where in the past half an hour, in the 30 minutes, he's the one who kept our attack ticking. He kept playing the ball, keep doing the 1-2s, passing, moving. He kept the ball glued to his feet, kept it controlled, kept it tidy, and Ahmad has been our best attacker so far this season, has been consistent, and it frustrated me at the time when Ten Hag dropped him against Liverpool because he was our best attacker then, because Ahmad is that guy to just tick everything in terms of the attack, to make something happen and create chances for others to get a shot off. So I think Ahmad deserves praise for his performance against Southampton, and the link up he has with Mazraoui is absolutely different level to what we had with, no offense, Wan-Bissaka and Anthony. So it's different levels with Mazraoui and Ahmad. So I think that's the right hand side partnership we need to see in the Premier League and in the other big competitions apart from the League Cup. So I think Ahmad deserves praise for his performance, and I'm happy that he's starting consistently, and I hope he does start consistently because he deserves it. And he's been our best attacker ever since the end of last season, since he started coming into the team. So I think he deserves it, and hopefully we'll get him to that new contract for a long time.
What about Casemiro's ball through to Dalot as well?
Oh yeah, Casemiro coming on for the injured Martinez and De Ligt, but it was a bit of cramp anyway. But yeah, it's a brilliant pass into Dalot, and Dalot had a weird first half. Like he had a bad
first half.
He had a bad.
Battered by Dibbling.
Yeah, Dibbling was cooking him the whole game, but after that, on a penalty save, he just woke up into life and just started being his own self, really. So I think, thankfully, Onana saved that penalty to make everyone in the team wake up and realise that this ain't no game. This is Southampton. So I think it was a good. He was better in the second half, I should say, with Dalot. With Ugarte, tidy, brilliant performance, nice tackles, brilliant breaking up play. Just kept the ball simple, just kept it going, just kept it simple, tidy. Didn't really have much to do, but just kept it simple, tidy, breaking up play, doing what a normal six should do. I always expect a lot of him, but I don't expect him to do the things that a ball playing deep line six would do. I just expect him to do what he's good at in his job, is just to break up play and just pass to the creators that would just do the job going forward. So I think it was a tidy debut for him.
Same. I like the fact that he got forward and broke the play up in the opposition half as well. So he's in Southampton's half, winning the ball back there.
Mm-hmm.
I think since Mount's been gone, we've missed that high press. We can't do it without him. Mount, as much as we don't rate him, I didn't necessarily think he's a great signing for us. But his ability to press, his work rate and his stamina is second to none. He's sick. So we missed him, but I think Ugarte can definitely bring that kind of level of intensity back to the person in midfield as well. Moving on to, there's a little game in North London somewhere on the weekend. Two small teams.
Oh.
I'm joking. So Spurs, Arsenal, North London derby. Obviously, Ange has changed things in Spurs, or we thought he had last year. This year, they're very much back to being Spurs again. Just not pulling out. I mean, Solanke didn't play, did he?
Yeah, he did on the left.
I did?
Yeah, on the left, yeah.
There you go. But like I feel like they're missing something, man, this year. I'm not sure what it is. What's your take on that one?
Yeah. From the start, I just expected Tottenham have more of the ball because Arsenal were missing key players with Odegaard and Rice, and Tottenham still lost, which is obviously not surprising anyway. But, I mean, Tottenham, we expected them to dominate the ball. Usually we always expect that with Arsenal, but sometimes they want to change things differently when they're away from home against the big teams. So I think they've been able to adapt in the big games away from home. So I think they've done that well to keep clean sheets and get goals as well. Tottenham toothless in attack. Like, they have nothing with Brendan Johnson. I think Solanke did okay. He was one of the positives for Spurs in that game. Son, anonymous, didn't really see him for most parts of the game. Even though I don't know why you put him touchline, like, as a winger. Like, I don't think he's a winger anymore. He's best in the middle where Solanke is, but obviously where you're going to put Solanke. But it is what it is. But Tottenham were just toothless in attack, really. Like, having all the ball, all the possession, but nothing in attack, and that's really been the problem for them not scoring enough goals. So for Arsenal, I think they've just been solid defensively. I think they have the best defence in the league, and it proves that from last season to this season. So they just keep up with that defensive record that they've been having from last season to today. So defence wins leagues. That's what they always say. Defence wins leagues. So I think they've improved that from last year till now. So I think they'll do really well. The test against City will be the ultimate test. Even though they did prove it last year, kept a 0-0 draw, did be compact and being defensive and kept a clean sheet. But I think again this year will be the ultimate test if they can still handle it again without Odegaard, without that structure. Well, they said about 3 weeks, but
that's not too bad.
Yeah, this around that. But it should be fine. But I think they said they'll miss the City game, I think, or in Arteta's words, we will see. But I think it was smash and grab for Arsenal, but I didn't think Arsenal didn't really need to play well to win that game. I just think they just had to get the job done, really. So they did well with that.
Okay. I think Spurs had like way more shots, less on target, but more shots. No. They had 17 shots, I think, or 15 shots. Let me check it. Yeah, they had 15 shots versus 7 for Arsenal.
Oh.
And they got 5 on target and Arsenal got 4 on target. But like you always say, it's the only ones that go in that count, in it.
Mm-hmm.
So they had 64% possession as well. It's just a very Spurs thing to do, to dominate a game against your rivals at home and lose. Just a very Spurs type thing to do. Very Spurs. Final game of the weekend was down at Wolverhampton Wanderers against Newcastle United, 2-1 to Newcastle. Again, I said this a few weeks now. Wolves definitely don't feel like themselves, do they? Something's going on there. Gary O'Neill was killing it last year there, and I'm not sure what's going on now. How do you see that game? Do you watch it? And
Yeah,
what do you think?
I watched I watched the whole game. I think Wolves were dominating in the first half. Newcastle, Newcastle were dangerous on the break, where Gordon was making some things happen on the left, and they were playing on the break. With a few Wolves mistake from the back, but I think they did okay. Newcastle to stay compact in the first half and just kept the score 1-0. Wolves played brilliantly. I think Wolves deserved more goals in that game. I just felt they just needed like a killer in the box to finish the chances that they had against Newcastle. But in the second half, Newcastle did the changes, and I think they made the difference with the changes. And I think the quality that they have with Tonali and Willett coming on, and even though they missed Isak, who got injured in half time, I think it was a big blow for them. But I think they still managed to get the job done, and with the quality of the goal with Fabian Schär and Harvey Barnes, I think did the job for them to get the 3 points and keep their unbeaten streak.
Yeah, 2 late-ish goals, 75 minutes and 80th minute. Come from behind to win. I think Newcastle generally have to be considered contenders, at least for Champions League places. They're finishing...
Well,
they're going to finish the season somewhere in the top 5
or top 6 or 7, but
I mean, they've won 3 games so far, drew 1.
Yeah.
They haven't lost yet. So we'll see. Give it 10 games, I think.
Yeah,
10
give it 10 games. Yeah, give it 10 games, yeah.
All right, so who was your player of the weekend for you then? Who was your... You choose one player from the whole weekend. What player stood out for you?
To think, who's player of the weekend? Player of the weekend.
It's nothing based on stats. You can say like someone who you just think they played really well, or you like them a lot and they played well.
I would say I'll go for Gabriel in terms of the defense of like Spurs kept peppering at Arsenal's goal. Really, I think Gabriel did well to contain with them with Saliba as well. With the partnership they have, I think they're more experienced together than they have been before with the defense at the back, and I think they've done really well to keep Spurs attackers quiet for the whole game. I think that deserved the player of the week for Gabriel, and I think that he's been their best centre back last season till now. But even though he made a few mistakes in the last 3 games, I think he redeemed himself in this game in the North London derby. That he's still that guy, and mistakes still can happen in football, but he's still turned up in the big moments. So I think I'll give it to Gabriel.
Okay. If you're looking at a team performance of the weekend, so not one individual player, but as a team that played really well this weekend or pushed through adversity, I would say for me, probably Villa, 2 behind Everton. But then Everton, in a basket case, they fall apart. I'd say United maybe. But who would you give it to as a performance, like the team of the weekend?
Team of the weekend. Even though they didn't win, I'll give it to Bournemouth.
I was going to say Forest,
Well, actually, Forest. I'll go for Forest, actually. Because to stay compact, to be defensive and play on the counter at Anfield and kept a clean sheet and score a goal is mind-blowing. Like, we never expected that. And I think that's a brilliant result for Forest. And I think that deserves Team of the Week. And no one expected Liverpool to lose that game. So I think Forest deserved that.
All right, guys, you've been locked into GMB Footy Talk. We'll be talking about the review of Match Day 4. We'll be back very soon with Match Day 5 preview and maybe some other stuff too. So hang out, don't go anywhere. Keep it locked into GMB Footy Talk. Gabe, any last words?
Yeah, more guests will be coming in. We'll be sure of that guests will be coming in whenever they like. We'll just see where they're at in terms of availability, but guests will be coming in soon. We'll just let you know for that.
You heard it first. GMB Footy Talk. Some guests coming on. Until next time, we'll see you soon.